Cause all we do is win, win, win. Yo, welcome back. Welcome back to Unbroken Story, the journey to recovery, where we share the real stories of strength, hope, and that transformation, the ever elusive transformation. I'm your host, Nico, and I'm in the building. I just want to say I'm rolling dolo. No co-host, the rolling dolo. Me and B Watts have separated, gone our separate ways. I just feel like he was going in a different direction, and mutual separation. So no love lost. I'm sure he'll be back on the show as a guest. But we rocking dolo, solo dolo, and much love to B Watts. I hope everything you strive for accomplishing, you accomplish all those things. I'm here for you anytime you need me. But with that being said, we're going to dig into the pies: physical, inspirational, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual pies. That's where we kind of break down where we're at mentally. So physically, I'm fit. I feel good. I feel like I'm dialed in physically. In the gym, I'm trying to eat better. I'm not really good at that part, but we're going to work on it. Drinking a lot of water, trying to eat a little bit better, trying to cut back on some of them sweets. But I still have my Chobani Creations Ice Pop orange cream. This is the best yogurt ever, yo. I like to eat yogurt while I do my podcast because it coats my throat for some reason. It makes it feel more silky as I speak. So so physically I'm dialed in as far as fitness and no aches, pains, and the hamstring is feeling real good. It still lets me know, like, hey, I'm not 100%, but we're getting there. Intellectually, I'm doing this all by myself now, so I'm a little bit more challenged. I got a more steps that I have to take care of before I can actually get the show on the road. So I love the challenge. I'm up for it. And then emotionally, I feel good. Feel real good emotionally. Family's good. My son is about to head off to the National Guard if everything goes well. I think he's been accepted. He has to do some other testing. Other than that, he should be good to go, and then off to basic training. So I'm kind of like up in the air about that because, like, part of me says, yo, he needs that discipline and to get ready for real life situations. And then the other part of me saying, God, I hope he's all right out there. I know I'm going to be going batshit crazy when he's gone. And spiritually, I'm trying to get more dialed in, trying to connect to my higher power a little bit better. Trying to find time to talk to my higher power. So that's always a kind of a hang up for me because I never was very a religious person. I don't do a relationship on Sundays with church. So my higher power is within, and the universe as a whole. Everything, the trees, the birds, the butterflies, the ants, the mosquitoes, all of life and what it has to offer this world, the sun, the air, the ground, the dirt, all of it is connected. The roots to the system runs through me, runs through the universe. So what you put out is what you get back. That's where I'm at pies wise. I hope all of y'all are having an amazing Labor Day weekend and you are soaking up the sun, barbecuing if you are. I did make a 12-hour beef stew yesterday, and I have to say, I put my foot in it. That shit is amazing. I feel like going to have some right now. But I can't eat it 3 days in a row. I made it yesterday. I had it yesterday. I had it today already. I'm going to probably have it again tomorrow because it's so good. Just to know, I let you know, I put in, I got, the beef tips. I got potatoes, corn, celery. I got, what else is in there? Carrots, beans, and an assortment of spices I can't divulge because that's my secret recipe. 12 hours. I do put in I'll tell you one of the secrets. I put in spicy chili beans, and I also put in spicy beef broth. So That's what gives it that richness. It's so good. It's such a. It wasn't even smoked, but it has a smoky flavor. It's crazy. Um, Today's episode. Let's get into it. What we're gonna talk about today? We're talking about something. We're gonna dig into something that every person in recovery eventually has to deal with or has to face. And what that is basically what it really means to live in a step that you're working on. So many of y'all know I follow a 12-step program in my recovery. I'm currently on step 2 this time around, and I'm doing it very thoroughly with my sponsor. And when I say thoroughly, we go through the basic text, the It Works How and Why, both the hardcover book and the study guide. Then we go into the traditions book, and then we try to live that step. So currently, for me, so let's start with step 1. That's the easiest one to start with. Because keep in mind, we spend so much time writing and sharing our steps with sponsors, our network, people in our program. But the real magic happens when we take those words from the page. We don't deal with the page no more, and we apply them in our daily lives. So basically, we want to take the study and apply it and apply it into application in real life situations. You know what I'm saying? So when you're about to go from 0 to 100, are you being able to apply some kind of step or principle to prevent you from going from from ice cold to red hot? You know what I'm saying? We want to prevent that kind of thinking, that on-off switch where just you explode or implode. So these are the ways. Like once you start living the step, it's all about action, honesty, and spiritual growth. It's about choosing recovery principles over old behaviors, one decision at a time. Today we'll talk about what that looks like and why it's so hard some days, and how practicing these steps daily changes everything. So you basically, when you do a step, you want to study it, you want to go over it with your sponsor, you want to apply it in your daily life, but you want to live it. So step 1, understand that your life will become powerless and unmanageable, and you need to surrender to that. You know what I'm saying? So give me 1 second. I want to pull up the step I'm actually working on for you guys, and I like to be thorough with my with how I see if I can get these steps up on the screen for you guys. Give me 1 second. Here we go. What is this? No, that's AA. We don't do AA. We do NA. I do NA. For some people, AA is perfectly fine. I'm a firm believer of the 12 steps of NA. So, like I said, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction and that our lives had become unmanageable. Powerless over our addiction and our lives become unmanageable. So for me, I've been clean 37 years, so struggling with using is not an issue. I don't have that issue. The desire, my higher power removed the desire to use a very long time ago. So for me, I got to work on behaviors. Nobody likes to work on behaviors and character defects. And believe me when I tell you, unbeknownst to y'all, I have a lot of defects. Like your boy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm crazy to the motherfucker. And but I'm working on that, and I've been working on that for years now. And it's vital to implement a principle or a belief or a step in real time. Like I can't even begin to tell you how important it is, from working the steps and walking them out on a day-to-day basis. Like working the steps, anybody can read, write, and talk. But to, once you, walk the walk, can you talk? Once you talk the talk, can you walk the walk? Once you have decided that, okay, this is the only way I can do this, then it becomes possible. So what I'm trying to tell you is, even though I have 37 years clean, I'm only, let's see, what's today's date? Today is August. No, today is, August 31st. August 31st. So that's 12 months. I'm on 16 months. 16 months removed from boosting. And I'm not talking about just going in there, grabbing shit from the store and stuffing it under my clothes, but like finessing it, like theft by deception. When I go into the self-checkout, am I scanning every single product? I didn't. That's stealing. If I go to a restaurant and I say, hey, can I get a cup of water? And then I fill it up with fruit punch, that's stealing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on 16 months, for the first time in my life, 16 months without stealing. Okay? That's first of all, that's applaudable. That's an applaudable thing, to go 16 months. I know the business is like that. But I honestly believe that had I continued stealing, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Ross, all these stores would have had a RICO Act on me. A one-man RICO Act. Because I've been doing it for so long. It was just a matter of time it get caught up to me. So it's funny how when you get into these steps and you start working them seriously with the help of someone who has worked it and has a working knowledge of it, and he could break it down in layman terms, what it actually means to live in the step, and then you apply that. Like, I have to say the serenity prayer sometimes before I walk into a store, because my mindset would be like, yo, I know that dog food is $60, but we only gonna pay $12 for it today. Or I know those 2x4s for that deck project that I gotta do are $5 each, but we only gonna pay $1 each. Like, I'm gonna change the price tags and all of that nonsense. So I have to say this serenity prayer just to make sure I'm dialed in to my principle for the time I'm in that store. Like, that's how caught up I was in the addiction of stealing. Because since I stopped using drugs, my addiction didn't go away. It just said, okay, since you don't want to do drugs, let's not fuck with drugs no more. Let's put them to the side. We don't have to do no more drugs. Forget drugs. Addiction will tell you this. Fuck drugs. That shit was getting old anyway. Nigga, there's a whole lot more shit we could do together. We can lie, we can manipulate, we can steal, we can lust, we can, you name it, we could do it. Anything you want, I got you. That's how addiction talks to me, in my voice. Like, addiction will tell me. See, a lot of people get caught up with addiction. Oh, he's getting high. Forget, I ain't been high in 37 years, but I'm still an addict, because all I did was substitute getting high, the feeling of getting high, with something else. And I hate that I did that, because it makes me feel weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm living like a hypocrite. Like, I'm saying I'm clean, but I'm over here stealing at 53 years old, 54 years old. I'm stealing stuff. I'm lying. I'm not a liar, but I lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a manipulator, but I do manipulate. So it's crazy how when you're not paying attention and you're not putting the steps to work every day in your life, how addiction will sneak up on you and twist your mind. You know what I'm saying? The drugs wasn't the problem for me. You know what the problem for me was? Me. All my problems were right here. How I talk myself into doing things. How I cope, or should I say lack thereof, coping with my emotions, my feelings. I don't know how to deal with them, so I just numb it up some way or another. Or the feeling of the insecure feelings that I have, like the low self-esteem. If I put somebody else down, then my esteem will be higher than theirs. Like that shit is crazy to me. So don't get me wrong, writing the steps down and working on the steps and study them, that shit does give you insight. That's what you need to understand how to apply them in your daily life. I can't stress that enough. You need to work the step, write it down, study it, go over it with your sponsor, and then you can begin to learn how to process it in real time in everyday life. Like when you're about to go to your boss and you're about to have a conversation, you know that conversation is going to go wrong because your emotions are starting to build up, that you can actually take a second, take a deep breath, pause, and then have a conversation without getting your emotions involved. That's part of working the step. Step one, surrendering to the fact that you know you can go from 0 to 100 quick, like that. A lot of times, I'll give you an example. This happens with a lot of, let me say, a lot of people that aren't from this country. You ever notice when they get mad, their accent changes? They'll go back to their natural accent because they revert back to their natural feeling. So if they're Spanish or if they're Jamaican is the best. Jamaican person, he might be sounding less Jamaican, but as soon as he gets angry, that Jamaican accent goes 0 to 100, flies. Or Trini, or Colombian, or any kind of Spanish for that matter. They can go from 0 to 100 and the accent changes because they're reverting back to what they know. They didn't apply the principle that they learned because they ain't working the steps in real time. That's how I see it. I'm always trying to figure out a way where I could not. I hate apologizing, you know. So if I live better, then I won't have to apologize as much. So for me, it's simple. I do the writing, do the studying, get the insight, and then I put that insight into action, and that's what builds the transformation. I start to apply that insight into action, you know. And then when I do that, when I start doing that on a daily basis, I start to have a transformation. So that's one. That's one way I can do it. The other way is to make things more practical. Like, all right, for example, in step one, you got humility, admitting powerlessness every morning. As soon as I wake up, I say, all right, you had a problem with this. It took over your life. Now, you understand that you are powerless over this and that you need to remember that. Like in each step, there's one. Like in step 2, there's hope. Remember that you're not alone when life gets too heavy. In step 3, there's surrender, choosing faith in a higher power during those tough times or those tough choices or tough decisions that you have to make. That's when you got to talk to your higher power. Help me get through this. Like, what is the best insight you got for me? Simple one. Step 4 and 5, honesty. Owning mistakes, quickly making amends. Like, if you know you messed up, then apologize and make amends to that person or that group of people or that business or whatever it is. But do it quick and be honest about it. And then, step 10, which I'm not even nowhere near these steps yet, but daily inventory, small check-ins at night, and do it. You can do it at night. You can do it throughout the day. Just check in to see where you're at. Make sure you're dialed in. Make sure you're staying accountable. Make sure you're still, trying to apply these principles in real time in everyday life in all your affairs, not just, I want to stay clean. Because once you're off the drugs and you want to stay stopped, now you got to start focusing on the healing, focusing on what made you go to the drugs in the first place so that you don't revert back. That is the key thing. People don't understand that once you get off the drugs and they're out of your way, you're out of your system a year or two later, it doesn't mean that they're gone forever. You have to constantly remind yourself, hey, I can slip back into that if I don't pay attention. You got to pay attention. And like practice, no one's born with these skill sets. It takes practice to obtain them. I'll give you a couple of habits to keep your steps alive and keep them working in your day-to-day life. Prayer and meditation. That's just to get you dialed in, to get you focused and dialed in for the day. I'll be honest with you. This is me being honest. I don't pray every day. I really don't. I don't know how to. I'm working on it. I talk to my higher power. I kind of just sit and absorb it, in a peaceful place. And I just try to dial in that way. Meditation is working for me. Just breathing and trying to clear my mind. And I try to do that in the morning. That's for me. That's what starts the centering my day. There's another way to get you dialed in and centered and hold yourself accountable, and that's with a list of gratitude. Like, be grateful, be gratitude, keeps things into perspective for you. I need to do that more often as well. Gratitude list is very important. It's a key thing. Here's another one. Now, this is one I'm pretty good at. Accountability calls and text messages with my sponsor or some type of person in my network. Like, because your sponsor ain't always going to be there. They go on vacation. They got shit going on in their life. They argue with their wife. So you can't always put your whole recovery into your sponsor's hand. Though he's a key cog in your recovery, you must have what I like to call mini sponsors. And that is nothing more than my network. People that I surround myself with who are like-minded, and they hold me accountable for when my thinking goes awry. Okay, when my thinking goes off the cables, that's when I got to start figuring out who am I gonna call, who am I bounce this shit off before I make a decision. So accountability calls or text messages to your sponsor or someone in your network that can hold you accountable. This is how you begin to live in your step. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget the old reliable. Ask. Simple as that. Just ask. Ask somebody. Which principle do I need most today? You know what I'm saying? Like, ask your sponsor. Ask somebody in your network. Ask, a friend, a family member, somebody who understands these principles, somebody who's working it is more likely going to give you the right answer. And that's how I think that's how I get through the day-to-day process. Am I doing it 100%? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because even though I've been clean for 37 years, I still struggle because guess what's attached to the top of my shoulders? This big old blockhead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still think for myself, and I've been thinking for a certain way for so long that it's easy to click right back into that process of thinking. And it's comfortable. It's almost like breathing. I could just snap right back into it. I'm trying to think of a personal story that kept me from acting out. I'm very blunt, upfront, probably brutally honest, and that can go either way, good or bad. Sometimes I'm brutally honest and it's negative. Sometimes I'm brutally honest and it helps. I can tell you this: as long as I pause, take a second to reflect before I know I'm going to do something crazy or act out of character or something that goes against my principles, I like to say the Serenity Prayer. Why? Because it's like a form of surrendering. I'm giving it up to my higher power because I can't do it on my own. Help me, and then I can move forward. A lot of times people they get caught up in that, I got this. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm good. And they might go into the bar, and before you know it, they're having a drink, thinking, I ain't never was a drunk, so I'm cool with this. Nah, alcohol is a drug. Don't be fooled. Alcohol is a drug. Simple as that. Ice cold water is delicious. If anybody has a story or any insight, please feel free to chime in. Hit the chat on Twitch. You can shoot me a text, and I'll try to reply to it during the podcast. So that's what we're here for. I shouldn't say we. That's what we collectively as a group. You, me, that's we. No codes no more. Makes it feel a little different. What are the benefits of living the steps? What is a benefit? The best way I can explain a benefit is you're growing spiritually, emotional freedom, and you develop better relationships. These are the three, I think, key benefits of living in a step. You're growing spiritually, emotional freedom, and you're building better relationships. You also stay grounded in recovery, even when life is chaotic. Like, what people don't understand, 37 years clean. That's what I have. But I constantly got to work with business relationships, employee relationships, my son relationships, just, in general, like so many different relationships that I got to juggle. Or I may do something to let somebody down, or I may lose my cool. I got to constantly remind myself to stay grounded in recovery, because that's what helps me get through. And that's what helps me nurture those relationships. So if I don't stay grounded, I'm all over the place. And then at the end of the day, I want to be a better example of what walking in steps looks like and how it can have hope for others. Like, we can't keep what we have as an addict. I can't keep what I have without giving it away, because it was given to me so freely. They ain't asked for nothing. So I have to give it away too. So if this can help one person, mission accomplished. I raised the roof on that. Mission accomplished if I can help one person get a better understanding of what it is and how it is to walk in the step that you're currently working on, or one that you might be going to, and apply that in real life. Because we can come inside the rooms and sound profound, can share some good old shit, and then leave the rooms and all that shit goes out the window. There's no more principles. You cutting up, you're lusting, you're stealing, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're just acting a fool. And then what happened to the spiritual principles that you were talking about in the rooms or in recovery? See, it's so easy to do in a positive place, but when you're in life, when life gets lifey, can you do it then? Or when somebody road rages you and throws you the finger up, are you going to follow them home and invite them to a fight? That's not very spiritual, in my opinion. But who am I? So like that to me is the key of it all. That's the key of it all. Like, and I just rewind it. Prayer and meditation. That to help you dial in, to get centered in your day, to help you get a better, like, strong footing. You know what they say? You hit rock bottom, and sometimes hitting rock bottom is exactly what you need, because then you could build a strong foundation on solid ground. Solid rock, you could build a strong foundation. Work in the steps, get a sponsor, get a home group, get a better network, and then study your steps, write them down, start to begin working with them, with your sponsor and others, and then start applying them in real life situations. Like I said, humility is one of the key principles in step one. Surrender is also the one I use in step one. Humility, hope, surrender, honesty. These are like the four basic principles. If you have more of that in your life, well, then your life is going to be more fulfilling and less toxic. So humility is one that's very hard for me, because I think sometimes my shit don't stink. Simple as put. I feel like I'm the gift to everything. And reality is the gift is being given to me through recovery. And I get a chance to live it, and I get a chance to share it. That's the true gift. So for me, humbling up and gaining some humility will go a very long way. I can't even begin to express how that has helped me in these last 2 or 3 years. So again, remember, prayer, meditation, gratitude list, take accountability, make those calls, make those text messages when you feel like life is getting too lifey. Don't wait until after you made the mistake and then make the calls. Do it before you make the mistake. Do it before you act out. Do it before you react. Because a lot of times we become very reactive instead of proactive. So make the calls, make the text messages. Just do it, just to form the habit of doing it so that it doesn't become hard to do. You know what my sponsor made me do? He made me call him 30 days in a row. If I missed a day, I had to start over. And if I had 2 strikes, on the 3rd strike, he ain't taking me as a sponsee. Like, the reason is that after 30 days, you form a habit of talking to your sponsor. It becomes easy, especially when the shit hits the fan or a day goes sideways. Or you just have one of those days where you're like, yo, I'm ready to have a drink, or I'm ready to act up. So form a habit. If you're not calling your sponsor, call your network. Call people in your network. I'm doing stuff with people in my network that I thought I'd never do. Like the other day, I just procured a new church for our meeting because it was, they were trying to finesse us out of more money. And I said, let's just find another place. And I went and met with the church administrators, and it's going to be a great fit. And we're going to move there starting on the 29th. Like, normally I would have been like, man, fuck it. Let's just bounce. We had that shit in my backyard. Like, but when you take the time and do the steps properly, when I say steps, like, instead of just being reactive, take time, think about it, and figure out a plan. That goes in all aspects of life. Like, anything that's thought out, well planned, ends up having a better result than just being reactive because you're angry at the moment. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be depressed. But it's how you react to those feelings is what makes it either okay or not okay. If someone makes you angry, don't give you the right to punch in the face. Like, for a long time, that was me. You say too much shit sideways, I'm gonna slap the shit out you. I used to say that in meetings. I made public announcements like I'm gonna slap the shit out of somebody because I didn't know how to deal with my anger. I still struggle with that, but I'm working on it on a day-to-day basis. And when I'm not sure, I reach out. I don't try to isolate and figure it out on my own, because my own thinking is what got me in this position in the first place. My own thinking is what made me go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So for me, I really got to dial in and just take a deep breath, surrender, understand that my life was once powerless and unmanageable, but now I'm working some steps, and I have tools in my toolbox that I could utilize in real life situations. Patience, that's in my toolbox now. Respect, kindness, humility, honesty, hope. These are all tools that I keep in my toolbox just in case shit get out of hand. I can turn, hold on, let me go in my toolbox, grab one out, boom, there you go. I apply that principle to the situation, and let's see where it goes from there. Because anger only begets more anger, violence only begets more violence, and all the negative things only beget more negative things. So if you argue with kindness, you'll get kindness back. If you fight with respect, you'll get respect back. It's just the way it is. So I'm feeling very blessed today. I feel very, very alive. Not in a sense where I have to manipulate, get over schemes, plot, or figure out a way to hustle. I'm alive because I know for the first time in my life, I'm doing things differently and it's working. I'm following I'm following a set of principles that were written so simply. I can follow them in my everyday life, and I know that they work. That's the beauty of my 12-step program, is I know that they work. Those principles work, and I'm gonna start utilizing them more and more often. So this way, I can build better relationships, and people can have better faith in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very blessed to have that. That was a little email that popped up on my computer, if you heard that sound. So with that all being said, limited step is where I feel is where recovery truly takes the root. When you live it, you work the step, you study the step, you write down questions of the step, you go over the step, and then you live the step. And that's when true recovery, true in-depth recovery takes root. It's not just about filling notebooks or checking boxes. It's not about, oh yeah, I read that paragraph, I read that chapter, I did this. It's about the transformation that shows up in how we treat people, how we handle stress. When shit goes sideways, how you gonna handle it? And how we connect to our higher power. That you have to be able to do it, not just in the good moments in life. It's easy to be grateful in the good moments. It's somebody once said, and I hope I don't mess this up. I'm gonna just paraphrase because I don't know the exact way he said it. The person that's catching a bus, I'm gonna mess this up. The person that's catching a bus, there's always somebody wishing they can catch a bus. Then there's the person that's riding a bike. The person that paralyzed wishes he could ride a bike. And then the person that's paralyzed, there's always somebody saying he wishing they wasn't dead. You know, like he just passed and he wish he could just be paralyzed. Like there's always something for you to be grateful for, is my point. And as long as you can find out what that is, you'll be better off. Like my mom used to always say, big up to mom, I love you, mom. Mom is the greatest person in the world. When a door closes, a window opens. And I believe that. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Put into the world what you want back from the world. The universe, put into the universe what you want back in the universe, because if you don't, it's gonna haunt you. It'll come back and get you and show up in a way you don't want it. So remember, how you handle stress and how you connect to a higher power. Every step teaches us a principle, and every day gives us a chance to practice that principle. Like, so if you're listening right now and feeling stuck, remember this: it's progress. Always chasing progress, not perfection. Perfection is never going to happen, but progression always can. Keep showing up, keep practicing your principles in all your affairs, and watch how your life changes. Like, I guarantee if you practice your principles in all your affairs, your life will change for the better. I believe that wholeheartedly. So let's do that together. Let's keep showing up. Let's keep practicing these things in all of our affairs, in every walk of life, in every situation. Every time you feel you're going 0 to 100, try to practice a principle to alleviate some of that pressure. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Unbroken Stories Journey to Recovery. If this conversation helped you, share it with a friend. Subscribe and come back for more real talk about healing, growth, and the power of recovery. Until next time, stay unbroken. Also, if you haven't seen it, the book 40 Years to Heal a Broken Child, you can order it on Amazon, 40 Years to Broken Child. I also got merch, and if you can, it's the Unbroken Stories podcast t-shirts. You can cop one, easy 20. It's a 20 spot, because I got to pay for all these accounts. I got to pay for this equipment and these mics, these cameras, and I'm trying to recoup some of it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to recoup some of it. I spent too much. But please subscribe. Go on YouTube and subscribe. Hit that follow button. Go on Instagram, Unbroken Stories Podcast. Hit that follow button. Anything else? What else is there? Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Okay? So do that. Stay unbroken, man. And I'm Nico. I'll be seeing you next week on Sunday. Much love and respect.